This is video number 2 where I am reviewing some independent practice problems that you completed in class. In this video, I'm going to be going over number 3 and number 4 from that worksheet. Alright, so I'm going to read through it entirely and then I'll break it down sentence by sentence. Sea level has an elevation of 0 feet. Lake Erie is the lowest point in Australia. It has an elevation of negative 15 meters relative to sea level. Which of the following U.S. locations, if any, have the lower elevation than Lake Erie? Explain. So I'm going to go back. Sea level has an elevation of 0 feet. So we've discussed this idea of sea level. You've heard those words in class, but we never actually describe what does this mean. So when we think about sea level, we think about like the top of the ocean. So where you see like the waves, that's what we consider the sea level. That's the top of the ocean. And for our purposes, we're always going to call that's the 0. So if I'm at the top of the ocean, I'm at 0 feet. When I swim down, I'm going to be below sea level. If I could fly, I would be above sea level. Or when we jump, we're above sea level. So that's what sea level means. We're comparing the location of people, items, places compared to where the top of the ocean is. Because the ocean is very important. All right, so that was the first sentence. So they just say elevation of the sea level is 0 feet. Lake Erie is the lowest point in Australia. It has an elevation of negative 15 meters relative to sea level. That means the elevation of Lake Erie is negative 15 compared to 0. So the sea is 0. So if this is 0, Lake Erie is 15 meters below. So I'm going to put it right here. We're going to say this is negative 15. That's the location of Lake Erie. I'll put a blue dot. Lake Erie is blue. And then they ask us which of the following U.S. locations, if any, have a lower elevation than Lake Erie. And then we have to look at this table of values. So there's 4 locations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Using this number line, we have to decide which one is lower. So why don't we plot these points? I'm going to label each one of them with a different color. This is going to be green. This is going to be yellow. This is going to be red. And then we'll do black for since we already have a blue dot for the theory. So starting at the top, Death Valley, California is at negative 86 meters. So that means it's 86 meters below the sea level. This is the sea. As I go further down, so if you picture this, as I go further down, let's say I swim down, I'm gonna hit negative 5 feet. If I keep swimming down, I'm gonna hit negative 10 feet. Keep swimming, negative 15, and I could keep going. Where would negative 86 be? Negative 86 would be way down here. Probably a lot further, but for our purposes, I'm going to put it right here, negative 86. That's where Death Valley, California is compared to the sea level. Then we do the same thing 3 more times. New Orleans, Louisiana. That elevation is negative 2.4 meters. 2.4. So this is sea level. New Orleans, Louisiana is negative 2.4. Negative 2.4 is about like half of 5 because 2.5 is half of 5. So that means Louisiana is going to be somewhere right here. Negative 2, kind of hard to write in there. Negative 2.4. That's where New Orleans, Louisiana is. Then I go down to the third one, Imperial, California. Imperial, California is negative 18. So negative 5, negative 10, negative 15, the numbers are getting larger as I go down because I'm getting in deeper. Imperial, California would be right after negative 15. Negative 18 would be right there. And then the last one, I'm going to say Ochita River in Arkansas. That has an elevation of positive 17. Since it does not have a sign, we say it's positive. Positive 17 means above sea level. Again, this is sea level. Arkansas, that river is going to be above. So it's going to be somewhere up here at positive 17. So I have the 4 points. The question again was, which of the following U.S. locations, if any, have a lower elevation than Lake Erie? So that means in my number line, which of these four locations is under, lower, abajo of negative 15? So negative 15 right here. This is where Lake Erie is. If as I draw this, I see there's two dots underneath, the red dot and the green dot. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to start typing my response. With word problems, we always like to restate the question. The following, now we can skip that word, the U.S. locations that have a lower elevation than Lake Erie are the red dot, which is Imperial, California, and the green dot, which is Death Valley, California. And then it does say explain, so I'm going to explain with my picture. Because on a number line, they fall below, under the elevation of Lake Erie. When you draw a number line, you can reference your number line as your work. You can use it in your explanation. So the U.S. locations that have a lower elevation than Lake Erie are Imperial, California, Death Valley, California, because on a number line, they fall under, below the elevation of Lake Erie. They're under the negative 15. If you have any questions with this problem, go bother me and ask me. I'd be happy to go over this with you. We're going to move on to number 4 now. Number 4. Doug says that negative 7 is greater than negative 5 because 7 is greater than 5. Do you agree? Explain. So Doug says that negative 7 is greater than negative 5 because 7 is greater than 5. So this is actually the conversation that we've been having, or we had multiple times yesterday. A lot of students think this is true because 7 is bigger than 5. And that's what they have here. 7 is bigger than 5, so that means negative 7 is bigger than 5. Now, you guys know me, I keep referencing the number line, so I'm going to use the number line. The number line is something visual that everyone can look at and understand. As I go further away from 0, so on the positive side, my numbers get bigger. So that means 5 would be here, and then 7 right there. That happens. Same thing happens on the negative side. Again, listen to my language. As you go further away from 0, your numbers get bigger. So negative 5 is there. As I go further, negative 7, it goes there. Negative 7 is further away to the left. So 7 is greater than 5. We know that. Why is that true though? Why can't we say that 7 is greater than 5? This is true because 7 is on the right side of 5. That's why this is a true statement. 7 is on the right side of 5. The 7 is on the right side of 5. Any number to the right is always greater than the number to the left. 7 is bigger than 5. If I put another number over here, 10. 10 is bigger than 5. Why? Because 10 is on the right side. If you had to pick a number, 4 or 5, which one's bigger? 5 is bigger. Why is 5 bigger? Because 5 is on the right side of 4. A la derecha, to the right. So now let's go over here. That actually helps me with my explanation. Doug says this is bigger, greater than this. The number is bigger. Let's give him that. Yes, 7 is bigger than 5. But it is not greater than. This is greater than negative 7. Why? Because this is further to the right. Further to the right of this. So that's what I'm going to explain. Doug is incorrect. Because, and I keep using my number lines for this in my explanation. You guys can too. Everyone understands number lines. Doug is incorrect because negative 5 is further right. Or instead of saying further right, we can just say on the right side of negative 7. Which means negative 5 is greater than negative 7. I forgot to put because on a number line. Because on a number line, negative 5 is to the right side of negative 7, which means negative 5 is greater than negative 7. This is a great explanation. They're visualizing it for me. I can visualize it in my head as I read it. All right, on a number line, right away, my head thinks number line. Negative 5, I visualize it. And then negative 5 is to the right, negative 7. That's correct. And then they explain, what does that mean when it's on the right side? Negative 5 is greater than negative 7. So when you use inequality symbols, whichever one you use, whether it is greater than or less than, Pac-Man always wants to eat the number that's further right. Further right. Pac-Man wants to eat the one that's always further right. Don't think about it as Pac-Man wants to eat the number that's bigger. No, 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 no. Pac-Man wants to eat the number that's further right. Pac-Man would rather eat 12 than negative 18. Even though 18 is bigger, 12 is on the right side of negative 18. That's how I was taught it. That's how I will recommend it to you. Think about it that way. Number lines. Pac-Man always wants to eat the number that's further right. Thanks for watching this short video. Continue with the next one.